Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 5th of December for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you some key strands to look out for, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces. Now, of course, we've been in Sagittarius season, and as this week begins, there is still that flavour, the Sun, Mercury and Venus. And Mercury and Venus still very closely together. But we're going to see a change as on Tuesday, Mercury makes its way to the top of the zodiac, the 10th house, very much to do with how we think about our work and how we link to the wider world as it arrives in the sign of Capricorn. But it's going to be joined on Saturday by Venus, and they're going to continue their alliance. This suggests that our people skills and the way that we present ourselves can still be very important in terms of more worldly interactions. But right at the heart of this week, Mars, which has ended that very draining and enervating square with Neptune last week, that comes into play in an exact conjunction with the moon in the sign of Gemini, which is in direct opposition with the sun, with the full moon, and that occurs on Thursday. This is quite a volatile combination, I feel. So we can have very fast moving events, particularly around communications. Also, we may all find ourselves over the next couple of weeks wanting to defend our point of view quite fiercely. Also, some people can just feel enormously restless and want to break out and travel, be more physically active, but it is quite hard to embrace the more nurturing and more emotional energies of the moon in the detached sign of Gemini when Mars in its retrograde is so close to it. And I think, we see a lot of polarization of different viewpoints these days, so expect a lot of that in the following 2 weeks. The good news, however, is that Mars is in a semi-sextile with Uranus all this week. And if we can use our minds and our appetite for learning new skills, it could be a way that we can adopt fresh positions in terms of marshalling our resources. And of course, we're all needing to be much more conscious of the cost of things these days. Also, the Sun is going to be in an opposition with Mars from Tuesday through to the end of the week. So this is not a time to be too impatient, particularly around travel plans, because if we do rush to get to a destination, it's probably something that won't necessarily be to our best benefit. Much better to enjoy the journey and, if necessary, take the more circuitous but more picturesque route, whether metaphorically or actually. But also, as this week draws to a close, the Sun does move into a square with Neptune. So whereas Mars on the other side of the heavens was squaring up with Neptune from the start of October all through November and through the first few days of December, it's replaced on the other side of the heavens by the Sun. So the potential for confusion or amplification of sensitivities is given greater weight as this week draws to a close. Now, before I go on to tell you each of the 12 zodiac sign forecasts, if you would like to understand what year 2023 will hold for you as an individual, and above just the zodiac sign forecast in this broadcast, if you give me 3 pieces of your personal birth data of time, date and place of birth, I can give you your forecast for next year, the rest of this year free. But in my special package of 30% off, you can also get your life map. This is your character analysis to help you to understand the core energies that are at the root of your very being. Please see the link below for more. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for joining me. And I'd be grateful if you would subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. If you're a long-term viewer, thank you so much for all your views. So Sagittarius, your week commencing the 5th of December forecast sees the full moon in your opposite sign. So the energy that you've been investing in your creative talents, your individual hopes, the need to really concentrate on what's vitally important to you has really peaked of late. But this week, Mercury and Venus say goodbye and move into the sign of Capricorn, which could trigger an improvement in your financial situation. But the full moon therefore occurs in your opposite sign. But because Mars is linked to the moon, it could create some turbulence around a situation where someone feels you've been too caught up in what's important to you and not seeing the bigger picture from their viewpoint. Now, you're a sign that has a great gift of seeing the big picture, so you may feel that that doesn't really refer to you. But the energy that can be created this week with Mars conjoining with the moon can be quite turbulent, so something could happen quite quickly. It can be quite an igniting, triggering energy that suddenly comes into play, if not this week, over the next fortnight from this full moon. And it can all be around the balance between you feeling recognised and appreciated for who you are as an individual, and where you want to set your boundaries to cooperate and collaborate with others. And the chances are you're going to want to keep those boundaries quite firm. So if someone you encounter has a very similar kind of energy at the moment, that in itself can create a kind of abrasion between your position or your perspective and theirs. So if you know that, you can really feed into your thinking. So this could be a week when people are showing their feelings in a much more demonstrative way, good or bad. Just be prepared for that, and I think you can really look forward to the transition of Venus through Capricorn, particularly when it goes alongside Pluto. So I think the foundations of your world can be reinforced in quite a karmic way throughout 2023, because that is going to be an energy that takes you into the new year. So part of your solar return map. So that's really exciting. Mercury, of course, is going to go into a retrograde, which suggests that everyday finance is not something that necessarily you can take for granted. But, well, that's true of all of us at the moment, isn't it? With these huge increases in costs that we've all encountered. But I think generally you could be quite optimistic that some of the things you've been working on more recently, or even over the longer term, that have taken a lot of patience, commitment, preparation, time, research, perspiration, can really start to give you some signs of an uptick, which can be very gratifying in terms of your sense of personal satisfaction and sense of your self-worth. But some kind of financial good news could come in as this week draws to a close.